Hey guys, welcome to another WoW video, and for today I am going to be going over everything that you can expect to see in the new patch that launches on July 11th, which is really close around the corner. I'll be posting this video a couple of days before. For it being not a major patch, there's actually a lot going on with it. So let's start with the big new Mega Dungeon that will be available. Dawn of the Infinite Mega Dungeon. So Mega Dungeons are never normal or heroic, so this will be a mythic difficulty Mega Dungeon. There's going to be 8 bosses. So we got Chronicar, Manifested Timeways, Blight of Galakron, Iridikron. Okay. Iridikron the Stone Scaled, Morchi, Tyr the Infinite Keeper, Time Lost Battlefield, and then Chronoloord Deos. Okay, so as for location, the location is out in Thaldraszus. It's the Temporal Conflux, right where you see that red box. So that's how you will get to this Mega Dungeon. There will also be some achievements, and as always, there will be a hard mode to the dungeon. Now, one cool thing that I like, and hopefully benefits me, is this. So this is the Reigns of Quantum Corsair. It drops in the Mega Dungeon. It's extremely rare, so this is going to be like a low percentage drop. They don't just say rare drop, they are saying extremely rare, so it's got to be lower than 1%. And it's dropped from the final boss, so you do need to make it all the way to the end. Basically what it is it's a gamble mount item, more or less. So you loot it, and when you learn it, you can learn any mount you're currently farming. As always, I'm sure there are duplicates you could get out of this, which is kind of the unfortunate part. But more recently, we have learned which mounts can drop from it, and it's quite the list. As a person who's been mount farming for years, I have majority of the mounts on the list, but this is the list, so I'll put it on screen here. For me personally, there's 3 mounts I still need out of that list. My current weekly farms are in this list, so you know the 3 I need from here is Shark Bait's Favorite Crackers, which is the freehold mount, Underrot, Krog Harness, which is, you know, the Underrot mount, and then Mechagon Peacekeeper, you know, Mechagon, obviously. And, yeah, all the, I guess Marrowfang. Yeah, I need to return back to that farm. I only farmed it during Shadowlands, but yeah. Okay, there's a few more, because I could use Marrowfangs and Cartel Master's Gear Glider. That's it. Yeah, I have all the rest. I would still do your mount farming. I wouldn't rely on this item because it is a low drop chance. You do have to make it to the last boss, and we don't really know yet how the drop works. Maybe only one person in the group gets it, right? So yeah, my suggestion is those mounts that you're farming, keep farming them, and then use this as a bonus chance, more or less. And then, of course, there's some transmogs. So here is a weapon. And then there's also this. So this is the Infinite Hand. It's wielded by Tyr, the Infinite Keeper. So the item itself is an intellect-only mace. But yeah, transmog is transmog. So very cool. It's like a different version of the Silver Hand. The next major thing that will be happening in this patch is time rifts. You know, you'll see this portal, as you can see in this picture, And you collect artifacts and take them back to Soradormi to complete the quests. The item that you're after is called Pericausal Flakes, and you trade them in for items, pets, tabs, cosmetic armor, weapon appearance. There's some mounts, trinkets, and some other stuff. So there's quite a bit of stuff you can get, which we will go into in a minute. And while the time rift's active, you just complete quests. There's achievements there that you can also do. The time rift will begin every hour on the hour. And once it's unstable, you head over to Tierhold Reservoir in Thaldraszus, where the veil between the time ways are. And yeah, just you mouse over the map icon that'll show up 5 minutes before the event. Okay, so there is a bunch of pets and mounts you can get from these vendors, so let's go over that. So we'll start with the pet list. So all the pets are going to be bought off the vendors through the Pericausal Flakes that you earn through doing the time rifts. So first one we got here is the Briarhorn Hatchling. Next is Doom Rebel, Gildan, Jeepers, Killbot 9000, In Ruby, Obsidian Warwhelp. So those pets will all cost $27.50 of the Pericausal Flakes that you earn out there. So that'll keep you pretty busy as far as the time rift vendors are concerned. And there's also an achievement attached to this, so you do get an achievement for collecting every single one of these pets. Okay, next let's go through the mount list for the time rift vendors. So we have the White Werewolf, which will be a horde-only mount. And then there's also the Raven as a Black Griffin, Gold-Toed Albatross, Fellstorm Dragon, Scourge-bound Frostbrood Vanquisher, Juggernaut Perfected, and the Sulphur Hound. Each one of the vendors in this area will have trinkets for you, and there will be some transmogs that you can also get. On the topic of transmogs, I thought this one was really cool, so you will be able to also get a shoulder transmog. This is from the Time Rift vendor, and it is the Fire Lord shoulders. So yeah, pauldrons of the Fire Lord. Okay, next up we have the Whelp Daycare. Now this is something you're going to want to do if you are a pet collector. There is a lot of pets you can get through here. So we'll go over them. First up, we have Anuna, cute little frog. It's through a bunch of quest lines. This one's during the Bronze Whelpling quest line. Next, we have Axel, and you get him from the big achievement. There's a meta achievement involved. Here it is on screen. It's called Whelp There It Is. And that is how you're going to get Axel, so he's probably going to take you a little bit. Next is Bellastraza, and this one is from a quest involving the daycare called Patience Please. Next is Iggy, and this one's going to be obtained through the quest line, and this one will be the Obsidian Whelpling quest line. The next one is called Pelibrius, and this is going to be obtained through the quest line portion that will be the Azir Whelpling quest line. Next is Posidrus. This pet is obtained through the Hibernation quest. Next is Princess Vorkastraza. I really love that this pet has the crown on. For most of you guys that have watched my videos for a while, you know I always wear that crown on my head. So yeah, it's cute that there's a pet wearing one. This one you will get through the quest a Cavalier pet, which is also during the Ruby quest line. The next one is Raziona, and the quest will be called Anatidiaphobia. Next is Somnius. This one I love. I can't wait to get my hands on this pet. He's so cute. The quest associated with him is called a Sleepy Pet, and that will be part of the Emerald Whelpling portion of the quest line in the daycare. Next is Zalithgos, and the quest for this one is called Sight Isn't Everything. Next is Zeusadormu, also a Dragonkin pet, and the quest is called Temporal Immunity. And that is the list of pets you get through the daycare. So as you can see, it's a huge list. You will have to pretty much do that achievement to get them all. By the time you've done all the quest lines and stuff, you should be, pretty much done the meta achievement. So yeah, definitely a place you want to hit up if you are a fan of pets and a fan of collecting them all. So the next thing is the Kalimdor Cup. So this is going to be a new dragon riding racing event that will show up in Azeroth. It'll have 16 races in Kalimdor. They'll be normal, advanced, and reverse, just like you're used to right now. And you can earn badges to exchange for rewards from Maztha. Now, before we go into those rewards, just worth noting that you're not going to see this right as the patch drops. This is an event that isn't going to start until August 15th, and then it'll run till August 28th. So I will, of course, in my weekly news videos, keep you posted when that time is a little closer. But yeah, don't expect this on day one. And worth noting that this is why people think flying will be available in Azeroth. I never confirmed it in any of my news videos because this is the only time we have really seen flight anywhere else. So it's a very, very likely that this patch isn't actually bringing flight to those zones, but it's allowing you to fly when you're doing the Kalimdor Cup in Azeroth. So just thought I'd let you guys know that, because I know how some info around the internet and, especially in forums and stuff like that can be misconstrued. People say one thing and then don't get all the details. So just letting you know, this is the only confirmation of being able to fly. So don't be surprised if you can't just, go over to Stormwind and hop in the air on your dragon riding. Okay, so just check the vendor. Here is the vendor right here. So it looks like you're just really going after two things, more or less. The major thing is a full transmog set. So this is what it looks like when it's completed. Each piece is going to cost you 15 award tokens, and there is 6 pieces in total to complete that set. And then there is also a customization pattern that you can learn on this vendor as well, and that will cost you 30 award tokens. So yeah, that could still lead to a lot of grind. So that is the rewards for the Kalimdor Cup. That once again won't be until August. Oh, and my mistake, there is actually 7 pieces. I thought 6 because that's what we literally see on the vendor as far as gear goes. But clearly there is an extra piece that either will be added to the vendor, or maybe you just get it on your first win as a freebie item. And also, like always, there is a bunch of achievements attached, so I just screenshotted. You can, look at the list here. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of achievements. which will get you some extra customizations and a transmog and also a title, which will be the Isles Racer. The Warlock will have some customizations. These are them right here. Very cute. I think it's about time Warlocks got something in the barber shop for them, you know, just like the Druid did. And yeah, I'm very happy for the, you know, I don't main a Warlock, but my second character ever was a Warlock. Like, I made the Druid in vanilla, and then my first ever alt came in BC, which was my Blood Elf Warlock. So yeah, I consider, you know, my Warlock and Druid to be my major characters. So very happy to see this great change, and yeah, I can't wait to you know, decorate my pet. Okay, so the new Evoker change for this patch is a new specialization, which is augmentation. Now, I will say, as a non-Evoker player, because I literally leveled my Evoker in the pre-patch before the expansion showed up, and I haven't been on it since Dragonflight launched. Yeah, so definitely a non-Evoker player. But as a person who isn't, you know, actively playing that character, I really thought augmentation spec was tank. You know, I really thought with them having heals and damage already that would be a tank spec. But no, just to clarify for those that might be thinking exactly the same thing, augmentation is another damage dealer spec. Basically, it uses the essence of the black and the bronze dragon flights to amplify the abilities of nearby allies. Their playstyle centers on empowering allies to increase their damage output and using the Evoker's direct damage spells to improve the effects. The core capabilities will feel familiar to Evoker players, such as spending essence, casting empower spells, and using the mobility to navigate the battlefield. The spec also introduces some new tools for the Evoker to manipulate the environment in their favor. So these would be Eben Might, increases your 4 nearest allies' primary stat by a percentage of your own, causes you to deal more damage for 10 seconds. Your other spells extend the duration of these effects, 1.5 second cast, 30-second cooldown. Upheaval is where you gather earthen power beneath your enemy's feet, send them hurling upwards, dealing volcanic damage to them and nearby enemies. Empowering expands the area of effect, 2.5 second in power, 40-second cooldown. Breath of Eons is where you fly to the target's location, exposing the temporal wounds on enemies in your path for 10 seconds. Temporal wounds accumulate a portion of damage dealt by your allies, and then critical strike the enemy for that amount, 1.5 minute cooldown, and it does replace Deep Breath. And then there's the passive, which is Draconic Attunements, and you learn to attune yourself to the essence of the black or bronze. So the black attunement grants you and your 4 nearest allies increased maximum health, and the bronze attunement grants you and your 4 nearest allies increased movement speed. So yeah, two great passives there, honestly. So that's basically the deal with the Evokers. So enjoy your third spec. Okay, so I thought we'd add this pet to our Evoker talk. I stumbled upon it later on and just kind of snuck it in. This pet is called Nathara, and it does seem to be tied to the Evokers. So basically what you do is there's going to be a quest called Augmenting a Dragon. Basically, you just get leveled up to 70 on your Evoker, or if you're already 70, you just, when the patch launches, specialize into your augmentation, zone into Valdrakken, just run down the stairs from the Seat of Aspects until the zone is showing Valdrakken, and it should be a quest that pops up, augmenting a dragon, and you complete it, get your pet. So really easy. Okay, next is a bunch of class changes. I thought, since we just finished talking about the Evoker, this would be a great place to sneak it in. So definitely feel free to pause the screen and check it out. There's a lot. So right now on screen, I have the PvE changes rolling out. There is a ton of changes in here. So yeah, definitely pause, read on the classes you care about, and then you can, unpause. I'm also rolling the PvP class changes, so that is what you are seeing on screen right now. And once again, just like the others, pause and not as much in the PvP one, but there's still a good chunk of changes there. And so that is all the class changes for 10.1.5. And an additional PvP note that I just thought I'd add to the mix here is that the Field Medic's Hazard payout now contains a new item. It's called Medal of Conquest, and that's a bind on account that awards 30 conquest on use. The Hazard payout now has a higher drop rate of Medals of Honor. Okay, another new thing that we will have is a thing called Eon's Fringe. So basically, this will be a new daily questing area in the patch. So it's a region in Thaldraszus, and the quests will allow you to travel through time, righting wrongs, and preserving the timeline to prevent history from unraveling, basically. That's the short and simple version. Not much else to say there. It's going to be a new daily hub that you will, have access to. The nice quick version of the storyline involved with Eon's Fringe is that you basically have to stop Illidan and Tyrande from ending up with each other, which saddens me. Most of you guys know Illidan's, one of my favorites. He's literally a statue behind me in all my streams. But yeah, that is what you're doing. Yeah, you are, you're trying to save the timeline by keeping them apart. So a little backstory or story for those that can't be bothered with lore, but, care about me, stating a quick little fact. Illidan and Malfurion are brothers, and they were both in love with Tyrande. So, yeah, but she chose Malfurion. Illidan, being hurt like he was, he went and, seeked out proof of his own greatness by feigning support to the Legion, believing that he could gain the power to defeat them. This led Illidan to gaining the powers of the first Demon Hunter and to his determination to defeat the Legion across all universes. His efforts did lead him to defeating the Legion, but this quest is actually set before any of those events. So ultimately, since we're saving the timeline, it doesn't take a genius. Illidan's going to be hurt at the end, and that's why I'm a little bummed about this quest line, but he is definitely a favorite of mine. The favorite, actually. And he's my favorite guy. He's part of my favorite expansion. So it'll suck to see him all hurt at the end of that quest line. This is where I wish it was one of those choose your own adventures, because I would fuck up the timeline and have them end up together. Yeah. Which ultimately could make a better game. There'd be a lot more excitement. Just saying. So this guy is the only reward I really know of at the moment involving Eon's Fringe. So this is a pet. You get it through a quest. The quest is called By Time Fire Be Purged. It will be a quest line for Chronosmith's Forge, which is done in Eon's Fringe. So you just talk to Temporal Investigator, Tempo, which is in the Fringe. Coordinates is 5481. As you accept the Chronosmith to start the quest line, and just do the quest, and it'll all lead to it, right? Yeah, so that is how you get this guy, and his name is Kablooey. Okay, so that's the major points of this patch. There are some extra stuff that I just thought we would just kind of blurt out at the end. They don't really fall in any super duper category. Worgens are getting 5 new fur colors. Maghar Orc, 1 new eye color. All the restrictions for unlocking allied races, they've been removed. So the only thing you need is the level requirement. And that level requirement is 40, which is a change, in case you're wondering. It used to be 50, so that got changed as well. Newly created ally race characters will now be directed to Chromie. It used to direct you to the war board. Also, another thing having to just do with characters is that characters level 10 to 60 that have not been logged into for 60 days at least will now have the option to receive a welcome back gift on the character select screen. And basically what happens with this is you select a spec when you log in, and then you're equipped with updated bags, some gear that's appropriate to your level, and selected specialization. So it'll feel like a boost. That's what a boost pretty much is, you have some bags just given to you with some gear, and yeah. You'll also be able to teleport to the character's home city, Orgrimmar or Stormwind, and all quests in the quest log will be cleared to provide a clean slate. To continue your leveling journey, head to Chromie in Orgrimmar or Stormwind. Also, another thing is that characters now learn the mount riding skill upon reaching the appropriate level without having to visit a mount trainer. So you no longer have to go purchase it. You just get it. So level 10 is apprentice riding, level 20 is journeyman riding, level 30 is expert riding, and level 40 is master riding. And also characters that reach level 30 will receive the quest Time to Fly. And this awards you with the flying mount, the Harbor Griffin for the Alliance characters, and the Scarlet Pterodox for the Horde characters. Also, on the topic of dungeons and raids, the first one I'd like to mention is this that I've shown in my WoW Weekly in the past. And that is Siege of Orgrimmar Raid is going to have a skip now. So you do not anymore have to, go through all those bosses and get to Garrosh for your mount if you're still farming that. So super nice. Definitely, it's about time. Yeah. And then the next one is that we are going to have the LFR solo queue for Shadowlands. So there's 3 raids in Shadowlands, and you'll be able to LFR solo queue them. Worth noting that I've seen this become available in multiple expansions. Expect them to be tough on release. Yeah. They always bring it out, but there is always some tuning that needs to be adjusted with it. Expect there to be some issues, at least until you get a little more gear. So an extra thing on the topic of raids, since I mentioned the LFR solo queue, another update here is that they've reduced the amount of tier pieces that drop in Aberris, the Shadowed Crucible raid. Also, the Revival Catalyst can once again be used to transform eligible items into Vault class set armor, and it doesn't require your Shadow Flame charges. Also, the Onyx Amulet Primordial stones that deal damage now deal 40% less damage. They say they're doing that to increase ring gearing options for players, and that they're going to compensate for this damage loss. Gear created at item level 441 or 444 can now be upgraded using the new Myth upgrade track. So this is a new track that goes from 441 to 444 and then to 447, a rank 1, a rank 2, a rank 3. The gear cannot be upgraded past the 3rd rank. The charge is retroactive for all gear obtained in Season 2, so any Season 2 gear that was created at item level 441, 444, or 447 will now display its upgrade level along the track and, can be upgraded at any vendor, any item upgrade vendor. Upgrading gear along the track requires flight stones and your Shadowflesh Crane for each upgrade. The usual discount rules apply here. If the character has a higher level piece of gear in the same slot, no crest is needed. And if a character on the account has a higher level piece of gear in the same slot, the flight stone cost will be halved. Seal of Diurna's chosen effect damage reduced by 25%. Self-damage from Vessel of Searing Shadow and Natharian's Call to Suffering no longer breaks stealth and is less likely to interrupt other actions. They also updated some legacy raids to drop a bind on equip items more often when you're soloing them. Inert Phoenix Ash is now found on both varieties of fire elementals in the area. Very good one that has to do with the secret pet. I'll link it at the end of this video. But yeah, you need Timewalking Kata to do the whole shebang. But Inert Phoenix Ash is definitely the complaint out of everything you need there. So yeah. So both types, and they do also say that they have increased the drop rate. We're just not sure how much, but you'll find out the next time you go out there after the patch has dropped. The Garrison Hearthstone and Dal Hearthstone are now going to be toys, so that's going to free up 2 spots in your inventory. The Disturbance Detected Timewalking raid quests now reset and are available to complete again when the Timewalking raid returns. These quests now award a chest containing hero upgrade level items and a chance at a bonus flavor rewards for max level characters. Timewalking gear earned at a maximum level will now be on the Adventurer upgrade track and can be upgraded with Flightstone and Shadow Flame crests at any upgrade vendor. This will not be retroactively added to Timewalking gear earned before the release of Fracture in Time. Awards out in the Exile's Reach have been improved. That's all we know on that one, just improved rewards. They've slightly increased the frequency of all the mounts that appear in the Black Market auction house. And they added Battle for Azeroth dungeon and raid mounts to the list of possible auctions. So we could be seeing some of those. I do believe the only thing people are probably thinking is, does that mean the Bruto will actually be back, because I'm pretty sure all of us that pay attention to the black market anyway only saw it once since it left the vendor. That's the only amount I saw. And yeah, so yeah. I'm glad to see the BFA mounts be added, though, because I just finished like cursing to myself for running Freehold and Mechagon and all that for so long. I'm still like, you don't notice how long you're running something until you're a YouTuber that uses the same picture every week for the mounts until you loot one and then you change the picture. Let's just say I haven't had to change the picture in years. We've been using the same picture for quite a while because I'm still working on those same mount farms. Yeah, so yeah, looking forward to that one, Blizzard. And then also they fixed an issue that prevented staves that were transmogged into the Mage Legendary, a Luneth, from occasionally transforming into a sheep when casting Polymorph. Okay, so some profession changes. There's now an apprentice crafter and gatherer near the crafting orders vendor of Valdrakken. Adventurers who have fully specialized into their profession can trade in excess profession knowledge for metal. Precognition embellishment no longer grants a haste bonus. Frozen runes can now be found along the walls of Nex for players interested in crafting legacy frost resist patterns. And players who have completed the quest The Gordok Ogre Suit, nice, I've completed that, can now acquire the recipe for the suit if their classic tailoring or leatherworking skill is at least 275 by speaking with Not Thimblejack inside of Dire Mall. Very nice. I'll have to go there on one of my characters. Blacksmithing change. The legacy plans for True Silver Champion, the Shatterer, and Masterwork Stormhammer can now be purchased from Ironus Cold Steel in Eon's Fringe after completing his questline. Okay, so there's a little more info on that Eon's Fringe. Cooking change. Roland, your recipe rat, will now train a player's other characters the recipes for deviously deviled eggs and your charitable cheddar without needing to locate them again in the vaults or the cavern. Very nice. Very nice. I like that. Inscription change. There's a new glyph of the Shathyar. Shao Priest can once again speak Shathyar while in void form. The inscription recipe has a chance to drop from Enzoth the Corruptor in Nyalotha. Good, maybe some people will do that raid because I've been needing to go in there for a mount run. And I'm inscription, so that works perfectly. The same character that I mount farm on can do the inscription. Because I've actually stopped doing a lot of the alts. I'm kind of down to the stuff that only needs to be done on one character, more or less. You know, like just farms and stuff. Farms that you can just kill over and over and over. So yeah, we're kind of, you know, at the moment done with alt farming. So I do prefer when it's a profession that's on my main character. And then the last profession change would be for leatherworking. The legacy pattern for Deviate Scale Cloak, Deviate Scale Gloves, and Scale Belt can now sometimes be found within stuffed Deviate Scale pouches, which drop from Druids of the Fang inside Wailing Caverns. The legacy pattern for Girdle of Insight, Mongoose Boots, Swift Flight Bracers, Chromatic Cloak, Hide of the Wild, and Shifting Cloak can now sometimes be found within Not Thimblejack's cache for players who acquire the Gordok Shackle Key within Dire Mall. So leatherworking has a couple of farms there if they need that stuff. You know, they are legacy patterns, so you might already have them. I do have those on my leather worker. So really just depends on how long you've played, right? There will be cross-realm trading. So you will be able to freely trade items and gold to all your other characters in your region, which I think's an amazing one. I knew eventually they would do the items, but I was not expecting the gold. Yeah, so that is a very cool. I like that because my Alliance characters are usually rich, but my Horde characters are usually poor because I barely play them. So, yeah, and any character does include different factions. So, yeah, very, very nice change there. Okay, so some changes having to do with quests. Chromie Time. Chromie Time will now teach you what Chromie Time is. Chromie will suggest timelines to choose and share the opening cinematics. The max level in Chromie Time is now 61. It was level 60. And Chromie Time expansion restrictions have been removed. So Dragon Isles await. That one is for, well, obviously Dragonflight. And it now provides an item that lets you teleport to your capital city to begin your journey. Dragonflight, Shadowlands, and BFA dungeon quests are now also available inside the dungeons. Both Exile's Reach and BFA now have campaigns to make it easier to track progress and pick where you left off. The quest line into Mechagon now starts at level 30. It used to start at level 50. Alliance players can now enter Nazjatar after completing A Nation Divided. The old requirement was that you had to have Unlocking the World done. Available Starter Zone quest lines and BFA side quests now display on your zone map. And the introduction to the capital cities after leaving Exile's Reach has been improved, so we'll see what that means. An additional pet that I thought we would add into the quest category here is this cute little dog. It's tied to an event, and the event is called Secrets of Azeroth. I've dug up what I can on this guy, and it looks like it's from an achievement. The achievement is called Community Rumor Mill, and basically in the achievement it says, find 10 buried satchels using rumors from around the community. So definitely does sound like this is a secret. And his name is Tobias. There's one mount that I haven't mentioned yet in the video that we need to mention to cover all our details here. The Valiance mount. So they're saying you can get in Nax, so they might be doing something with Nax to allow you to get it. But yeah, anyway, that's it. When there's more info, I will definitely let you know through the weekly news videos. But at the moment, we know it exists, and the drop is Valiance, the location is Nax. That's it for quest updates. And the last thing we're going to go over here is just some user interface stuff, quality of life type updates. So for tracking, you can now track uncollected transmog appearances by shift-clicking in the collection panel. This adds it to your objective tracker. You click the icon to super track it, just like you would for a quest. Currently, you can only track appearances from vendors, dungeons, and raids. Hold down shift to see which appearances can be tracked. For appearances that have multiple items, you will just press tab to cycle through them and shift click to track the currently selected one. Click on a tracked item in the objective tracker to open its location on the map. For appearances that come from dungeons and raids, click on a boss name in the objective tracker to open the dungeon and raid journal. So that's that for tracking appearances. Action bar icons have updated animations for spell procs, interrupted casts, cooldowns. Those icons also now show a cast bar while casting or channeling, and a green targeting circle when placing a targeted ability. There's also a sell all junk button to vendors, so I guess you can get rid of that add-on. They updated repair and repair all art on the vendors. They added an option to replace player portraits with class icons. Added a way to report players in the crafting order panel for inappropriate order notes. I hate the crafting order thing, so yeah, I haven't seen any notes at all. So yeah, crafting orders now has an add friend option on the social menu drop. That one's a good one. I haven't been using crafting orders, but if you were constantly after something good and they were doing a good job, yeah, why not add them as a friend, right? Updated the ring art around the roll icons. They also updated the art on various pop-up frames, and they updated the animation in the unit frames. Okay, so a lot of updating art over here. And then the final thing here has to do with edit mode. So in edit mode, they added duration bars like, breathing and fatigue with size settings. They added multi-seat vehicle UI with size settings. They added some lines that show what edges your element is snapping to. They slightly increased corner snapping range. They added archaeology bar. I like that one. And they added a width and height slider to the chat frame. And yeah, so that is all the notes. I know it was a bit of a long one, probably mainly this last bit. I know some people probably don't care about these types of patch notes and probably left a couple of timestamps ago. But I did promise you guys that this was going to be a full video on absolutely everything. So that's why I added it in for those that do care about the small little things like, removed Hearthstones. Well, not removed, but added to the toy collection and, the sell all junk being there and, stuff like that. But that does end our video. So I hope you enjoyed. Have fun in the new patch. I will be on stream on Tuesday, and I want to do some mega dungeons and maybe some of that Eon's Fringe, and definitely hit up the time rifts and all that. So have fun in that one. This is not replacing our weekly news, so there will be a WoW Weekly with Mist tomorrow. But I wanted to do a big video for you guys going over everything. And with that said, we probably won't talk about much patch related in tomorrow's video, just because I'm going to link everyone to this video. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have fun in the new patch on Tuesday, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.